Well, most of the time, middle of the week, I like to bring everybody an update of the barn. It's an absolutely beautiful day here today in Ohio. I'm getting to the barn. I'm going to go with 3 or 4 horses, and then I'm going to head out to the meadows, where I think I didn't realize I started as early as I do. I start actually driving in the second race, whereas our horses aren't in until race 6 or 8, so not a big deal. But I did want to update some people. I had an email come in a few minutes ago, somebody asking about Save America, and it dawned on me, I didn't give everybody an update on him after his blood work came in. There were a number of markers that were out of whack. AST, white count was high. Jason and I sat down, and it was pretty obvious. When you look at the AST wasn't too concerning. It was a little bit elevated, more than enough on that point alone for him to race poorly. Factor in the white count in his liver being a little bit high, probably a little bit of a virus last week. We thought we nipped it in the bud, and you wouldn't have seen it training a slow mile. You wouldn't have seen it until you go 150, 151, 152. And we certainly saw it then. So to get all those levels under control would take a week or 10 days. And Jason was the one that said, he said, well, you know, if we have to give him a week or 10 days, why don't we just give him 3 weeks off in the field and bring him back? And that would be a decent rest for him, which was smart. I think he's 100% correct. It was the right move to make. So we're going to shut him down for 3 weeks. 3 weeks in the field for Rock Shining Star and for Save America, and we'll bring them back in, start them back up. They won't be long getting ready here. I would say if all goes well, we might be even able to scoot them under the 45-day qualifying mark. Wait, now 3 weeks? Yeah, maybe. And even if you can't, they've adjusted the Pennsylvania qualifying time to 60 days. I never understood why they did it, but now I do, because 2 of the 3 tracks are off for an extended period of time. So rather than making everybody re-qualify, they just moved the qualifying date. I got an idea. Just get rid of the qualifying date. Qualify once. Somebody enters their horse. Just assume they come ready to race. And if they don't, somebody clearly brings their horse ready and is come to the track and it is obviously not ready to race, well, as a judge, you can deal with that anyway. But as far as qualifying standards go, who really looks at a qualifier? If you're a bettor, who really looks at a qualifying line and takes it seriously? This day and age, most people just go around anyway in the qualifier. Most of the work is done in the mornings, and it's uncharted. Heavy training, schooling, things of that nature. So when it comes to Save America, if we don't have him back in the 45 days, we might just scoot him over to the meadows, school him up real hard, and then race him once there. If they're going to leave that qualifying date in another 15 days, surely we can have him ready to go in 2 months off 3 weeks. That's a certainty. So I think you'll see him race under in about 45 to 60 days. It'll either be in Ohio or Pennsylvania without a qualifier needed. Both him and Rock Shining Star can do that. I guess last night I gave you an update of everybody in case you didn't see it. A decent day at the office. Not the day we wanted, but certainly not a horrible day. I don't think anybody raced poorly. Memory and Imagination raced great from off the pace yesterday. Just had a real slow tempo at the start and really dug a hole for us in the latter part of the mile. Looks like Money raced great. He had a little help getting beat, but raced very, very good. And then last night, Yo Mister raced again. Adequate, good, not bad, not poor. Raced good at Miami Valley. Century Legion, I thought, put in an honest effort. Obviously, you can see that there's lots to work with there. The fact that I was able to hold them together quite easily leads me to believe that he wants to get at it. He wants to do his work. So we're going to do everything we can to help him get through that. When I go over the race again and again and again under video, I've looked at it 2 or 3 times. I don't think it's lameness at all. It's mechanical. It's interfering. How do we get him past that? Well, repetition is one way. We want to make subtle changes to see if we can help him. He's not like he's interfering badly. It's surprising that he's that rough, but we're going to continue to work on him. And I think give us 2, 3, 4, 5 starts. And after you see that 3, 4, 5 starts of racing speed, now he has to get in every week. This is the biggest problem we have right now in Ohio and Pennsylvania, not being able to get our maidens and numbers 2 in consistently. It's a real problem recently, and it's starting to annoy me a little bit. So Century Legion, we need to get him in. We need to get him in much more regularly. I'd love to have 3 or 4 starts right in a row with this guy. See if we can't get him squared away and get that last little wrinkle out of him. Leggy, I thought raced good, but again, 15 days. Asking, I was going to say 2-year-old, but for all intents and purposes, she is, unless she was literally foaled in January. She just turned 3. Very immature. Not very immature, mentally very mature. Still has a lot of work to do physically, but it's tough to get that done when you're racing on a 15-day schedule. It's impossible. So we need to get these horses in more regularly. And this is nobody's fault, but just we're a victim of circumstance when it comes to not being able to get them in on a full-time basis. So I'm missing one horse here. Yo Mister, Century Legion was our first. Drawing a blank. What's wrong with me? Patrick the Piranha. Oh my God Almighty! Well, you know what? I know exactly. I forgot him because it was just a paint by numbers go around race for him. I'd like to draw 2, 3, or 4, get him around, get him in, down to the rails 2, 3, 4, and let him hunt for a couple of weeks. That would be good. He did feel like there was a spark there last night. I purposely didn't move him to the outside around the last turn. It was pretty obvious that he was going to be 5th. And I just kind of run him into a wall of horses, ducked him to the inside, and he shot through the wire to be 5th. So the spark's there. We just need to turn it into a flame. So that was yesterday. Now, updates. A number of people have noticed that we named our yearlings. We had some names left over from the last 2 years of naming horses. And also, they weren't showing up on the staking report. They were just showing up as unnamed, muscle chrome, unnamed, globetrotting, unnamed. So to get all these horses on the staking report coming up, even as yearlings this time of year, we needed to name them. Linda said sooner than later would be better. So I sat down, we used some of the names we had, and some of the input that we had from clients. I know Heather had called me. I'm sure she's wondering how we got Vinestaff from Century ATM and a muscle chrome. Well, Centurions. This is stupid, but Ava, of all people, was one that saw this. Centurions had Vinestaff. That's how you knew what they were. So we just simply called all Vinestaff. I like it. It's cool. Cloud Rider, Cover My Short, Holding Pattern, Lou Armstrong. That's an awesome name. Do you know, I didn't realize this. I guess I did know it. Used to be you could name horses anything you wanted. Now you can't name them after famous things or people. I guess famous people. Now, I did not know this. Cuatro de Julio is July the 4th in, I assume, Spanish? Yes, must be. And my jazz, king of jazz, is Louis Armstrong, who was born on the 4th of July. Kind of corny, but I thought it was cool. Money's Tied Up. That's a good name. Anyway, all the babies are named now and on the site. The 2-year-olds, castrations were done this week. AC/DC, Sterling, Hanover, and Hangar 1 are all done. They get the week off. The curbs were cryoed. They get the weekend off. They're not going to train again until our training day, whether that be Tuesday or Wednesday. I'll know tomorrow. The reason for that is if they do the draw and our horses get in, and they get in a little bit later in the day, we can have the training day on Wednesday. If they get in earlier, Tuesday would be a little more amenable for me, so I can get out of there. But we have any more updates? On Sarah, no. Capistrano Knights, Captain Doolittle, no. Cherry's Girl, curb crowd on her. No. Dune. There's no real updates except for the curbs and castrations. Very happy with the way that everybody trained this week. Certainly no disappointments. This time of year, we usually have a couple. I'm like, gotta change, do this and change that. The horses that we've been working on have been improving, so that's good. The horses that have been training good are training great. The ones that were training good all along are still staying the course and holding the line. So very happy with them. How are the 3-year-olds coming? You'll get a chance to see them next week. Arrowhead Hanover has been training great. Aunt Lily trained fantastic the other day. Now, Bluebird Tuxedo Hill's been in 2-6. I don't know if they plan on qualifying him or reschooling him tomorrow. That will be up to Dominic. We'll all see together. I haven't talked to Dominic about the qualifiers and schoolers, but I know he schooled 3 or 4 horses last week, so I assume at least 2 or 3 of them will be in to qualify. Bluebird Tuxedo Hill is in that group. He's been in 2-6. Blue Ventura is racing. Of course, he got the 10 hole. We just asked for all outside posts this week. If you could just let everybody else draw the inside. We just want the outside posts this week. If we could just corner the market on the outside posts this week, that'd be awesome, and that's exactly what we did. Cadeau, I just heard from Mr. Stanley. He said, is he not racing this week? My apologies. And it is becoming a problem. We can't get them in. All this stuff's been documented, and it helps me pave our path for 2026 a little bit better. Maybe we need to get the 3-year-olds ready in a staggered formation so there's not 5 ready to race in maidens, because we can't get them in at the Meadows. Why can't you get them in at the Meadows? Because it's PA owned and sired first. So we can get them ready. They got to be the PA sired ones, because they aren't PA owned, and we're getting horses that are getting left out. I want to race Rosetta in Pennsylvania next week. May not happen because of the PA owned and sired, and if it doesn't, I guess we'll just requalify her with hobbles on. That'll be the plan for next week, I suppose. Captain Incredible is jogging back. He hasn't started training yet. We'll start training him maybe on Tuesday. We'll give you a short video of him in the first training mile. Possibly. Century Legion, I thought he raced well last night. He'll continue to improve. Chicago Hall, I'll train him, although I say that with a little shiver in my spine, because it's going to be very cold on Saturday in Ontario, but I'll endeavor to train Chicago Hall a little bit. Country Dancing, I want to see into school tomorrow or qualify. I know they've trained her a couple of times. She's been in 2.5. As I said to Dominic, the filly went in 53 last year. You don't got to train her to death. Just put her into school. Then went that way. If there's any issues, we can make changes accordingly. But I would like to see her in a racing setting to see what we're dealing with. Dancing by myself. I asked Dominic, I said, I assume the fact that he's not in to go is because he has to qualify off that line. Making a horse qualify that is already qualified on a horrible night, it just makes very little sense to me. You're going to allow people to scratch weather without any penalty, yet you're going to start putting horses on the list. It makes very, very little sense to me, but whatever. This is the rules, so Dancing by Myself will be in to qualify on Friday also. Fire and Shine trained good the other day. She'll be training Tuesday or Wednesday, whenever it is for you guys. Foxy Seaside is in to go. Probably one of the most anticipated starts. For me, it was Century Legion this week. I wanted to see what he'd do. I was happy. I could see that we have a lot to work. Not a lot. Well, a lot to work with, but a little bit to fix still with him. But Foxy Seaside has just looked great training down, schooling, qualifying. Very interested to see how James drives her this week. Well, I know how James is going to drive her. Very good to see it. Very interested to see how she races. Freedom Hill is training down good. Gaslight Hall is going to start training. He may have started training yesterday, actually. Let's say Thursday? Yeah, he may have started training yesterday. Gorgeous Package has been training good. She looks exactly as same as when we put her away. She looks great. Grand Old Chap will start training the end of next week. We'll start training him. Grand Slam Dio, I'm going to send her to Ontario. She's trotting the straightaways very good and very, very strong. And I can get her through the turns, but she's never going to race on a half, so what am I even doing? Why stress her out and bother her training down on a half-mile track when she's never actually going to race on a half-mile track? So she's going to go to Ontario. Jimboree is training down right now and looks very, very good. You're going to see her train on Tuesday or Wednesday also. I Don't Play Nice, I assume, is schooling tomorrow. I'll talk to Harry about that. I'm a Trucker. There's two ways to look at I'm a Trucker. Am I wasting your money and sending him to Ontario to train on a bigger track, knowing that he has to go to Michigan and, geez, can he even race at Mohawk if he gets ready? Can't answer that. I simply can't answer that. It's going to cost us $600 to get him to Ontario. What happens after that, I don't know, but after looking at it and knowing that my schedule is a little scattered when it comes to going to the Meadows, it's going to cost us money to ship him to the Meadows anyway and to have him trained there. I think I will send I'm a Trucker to Ontario. And I might be wrong, but I don't think I'm horribly wrong either way. He's still going to stay at that base level of what he's worth right now. And I do believe there's talent in there. I can't possibly tell you that I'm a Trucker is going to race at Mohawk. That would be a stretch. But I do believe we should give him a chance to get to the races and then assess him properly after that. Whether that be Michigan or where the hell he goes, that'll be up to I'm a Trucker. So that's the plan with him. Leggy, I thought raced really well last night. Manhattan Money, I know Larry called me 7 or 8 times this morning wondering when he's going to qualify. As I said to everybody, he'll be ready to go very, very soon. I think he is on the exact same lockstep as I Don't Play Nice. So I imagine they're going If I know Harry, train them down, go to the Mohawk, school them, qualify them twice. By Valentine's Day, I'd like to see an entry in to go in a parimutuel event for Manhattan Money. Melisandre surprised the hell out of me. Of all our trainers this week, she's the one that stuck out the most. I expected Aunt Lily to train good. I didn't expect Melisandre to get right to her throat latch going under the wire. She looked very, very good training. I'm happy. She's making life difficult for me. I was trying, in my mind, I had myself at least remotely convinced that we were going to breed her, right? She's just worth too much as a broodmare. The exact same situation where you're going to punch the clock. She's worth too much as a broodmare to screw around with and not get her in foal. Now, that did not work out for the most part with Punch the Clock. But when it comes to Melisandre, man, I don't know what she is or what she could be. It's hard for me to discern that. All I can tell you is the best training mile of her life took place 2 days ago. Where are we at here? Memento Mori looks good. He'll start training next week. Mountaineer Prince has been training good. Did make a little break. Shocking. I know it's surprising. He did make a